What's happening, everyone? I'm going to do a podcast here. We're also going to go live. Let's see here. Okay, cool. So I've got Instagram Live. I've got Facebook Live. We're going to dive into some things. I'm also going to be recording a podcast right now that'll air tomorrow. So if you miss any of this, be sure to tune in. So I'm going to start recording right now. Here we go. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Phoenix Entrepreneur Show, where we're going to dive into some different things this week. We're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to talk about a book that I've been reading right now that's it's been changing the way I think about a lot of things, and it's going to change the way I do business, that is for sure. And the book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's an older book. It was written quite a while ago, but if you haven't read it, you need to take some time to read that book. It is such an influential book. Some of the books that I've been reading lately are How to Win Friends and Influence People, and also Think and Grow Rich. You know, Think and Grow Rich is such a, I'd almost call it the Bible of business. And it's an older book by Napoleon Hill, and it's just packed with so much value. I've had to read it twice just this year because it gets deep. It's almost like when you're reading the scriptures or the Bible, you know, it's deep. It gets deep in there, and you have to, dive into that and kind of dissect it, what it means to you at the time when you're reading it. And that's kind of similar to How to Win Friends and Influence People is by Dale Carnegie. Super interesting book, and some principles that I think if we all applied some of these principles in today's world, we'd be more successful in our negotiations, in our lives, with our friends, our families. There's just so much value that's in the book. So I highly recommend that. This week has been packed with a ton of different things. For me personally, that's kind of what we do in this podcast, talk a little bit about personal life, business life, what's going on, and how it applies and how it can apply to you guys. So this week was rainy weather. There's a lot of different things. So with my service business that I own, I do window cleaning and carpet cleaning. We had some slower days. It was a little bit of a slower week, but that's okay. We are solidly booked next week. And, there was some time this week for me to continue to set up my podcast studio, video studio that I've been working on. Super pumped about that. Converting half my garage to a studio, basically, where I'll be able to do better live videos like I'm doing right now, but better ones. Also, podcast interviews, and just really kind of continue to build, and help you guys and help everyone. And it's going to be my studio. It's going to where I'm going to do a lot of work from. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to have the opportunity to make the show like we're doing right now with the lives be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more fun, if that makes sense. I'm going to have, different things, different elements to it. I'm going to be able to write on the wall, write on the board. I'm going to have a, whiteboard so I can demonstrate things. I can talk about things that are more pertinent and be able to show it, because I know I'm a hands-on learner. I don't know if you guys are a hands-on learner. Well, if I can see something done when I'm learning something, I retain it a lot better. So instead of me just talking about it, I'm going to have my studio. We'll have a whiteboard so we can jump on these lives, Instagram, Facebook lives, and I can show what I'm talking about. When it comes to goal setting or building funnels or social media or whatever I'll be talking about, there's going to be tons of topics that we're going to talk about. I'll be able to show it in my studio a little bit better on these lives because I'll have a whiteboard and stuff to do that on. So I'm super pumped about that. Had a chance to kind of get that put together. It's not quite done yet. That's why I'm still, just sitting here at the table right now doing this. But you do it where you got to do it. You get on lives, you get on Facebook, you get on Instagram. If you want to do things in business, you've got to put out content. It's got to be valuable, and you just got to do it. If you're afraid to do it, if you're shy or whatever, that's a good thing. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone and you're going to learn. So you just need to jump out there and do it. Make it happen. You do something that you're not comfortable with, and you get nervous beforehand. I know how it is. You get nervous, palms start to sweat. You're getting really nervous. and then you just start doing it, and what happens? That all goes away. At least it does for me, and so that's what I've learned in life is you just got to dive in head first. If you want to challenge yourself, just dive in. So that's something that I've been working on this week, is putting that studio together, just because I'm so excited because I'll be able to work with you guys more and just share free stuff, stuff that I've learned, stuff I've learned from being in the trenches, stuff I learn every day from influencers that are at a different level that I am, where I'm going, like the Grant Cardones and the Gary V's and stuff. I'm going that way. I'm getting there. It takes time. It's a long game, but I'm getting there, and just taking those steps to make that happen. I've had the great opportunity recently to work with a huge influencer out there in the entrepreneur business space, Brandon T. Adams. If you guys don't follow him or what he's doing, man, the guy is on fire. Just so much he's working on, so much he's doing. I've had the opportunity to work with him. He's coming to Salt Lake October 9th. I'm putting together a small little event for that. So if you're listening and you're from Salt Lake City, October 9th, put that down in your calendar. Leave that day open, because we're gonna have an event with him. He's gonna come for a couple hours. He's gonna speak, Q&A. You can network with him. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're putting that together right now. It'll be in Salt Lake somewhere. We don't have the exact event space. We have a couple places we're talking to right now. So if you're in Salt Lake or close to Salt Lake, try and come to that, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. Brandon's gonna be dropping tons of value. And so if anyone's listening here on Facebook Live, Instagram, or the podcast, make sure you come if you're in Salt Lake. We're going to be in Salt Lake on October 9th. And he's coming because he's looking for places to live for next year, because he's going to live in Salt Lake for a whole month, and he's going to be filming a TV show. Some cool stuff is going to be happening when he's here in Utah. So make sure you check that out. Check that out when he's here. It's going to be super cool, super fun, October 9th. So what I was kind of, titled this podcast and this Facebook Live and Instagram Live is how to win friends and influence people. Now, if you're a bitter person, you're going to want to change that if you're going to want to succeed in business, because you need to care about what others think. And that's a huge thing that I've taken away from the book, Think and Grow Rich. I apologize. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, is that relationships with others is huge in any part of your life and any part of business. Some of the biggest deals that are ever made are through relationships. And, he tells many stories in the book about just people that would reach out to, these big CEOs or big companies or whatever, and they'd provide them with value, and they would listen to their problems, and then they'd find a way to help them. Those are some of the big, huge takeaways that I've taken. There was, I'll just go over one of the quick stories, and I'm going to probably butcher it, but there was a man, and he lived in this town, and there wasn't a ton of employment positions, and he just got back from war, and so he was looking for a place to get employment, but there wasn't a ton of employment positions. But there was one gentleman in the town that owned a ton of the businesses in the town, a ton of the land. He was a big, in that time, I guess you'd say, influencer in that town. And, he'd interviewed at many places, and he's like, I got to change the way I'm approaching this. So what he did is he met with, this guy, this influencer guy in this town had a gatekeeper, right? That lady or that man that will not let you get to that person. That's their job, right? They're the gatekeeper. They keep you from that person. So he went in there and he started to talk with her, and he listened to her first. He didn't speak. He didn't just pitch her. He let her speak. And then he said, I can help Mr. So-and-so make more money. Right? And she's like, well, if you can help him make more money, that's what he wants to do. He wants to make more money. Right? That's his end goal. He wants to make more money. So she set up an appointment. She sent him in, and the guy's like, what do you need? And he's like, I have a way to make more money for you. But first, he didn't just, and the guy's like, well, sit down. And they started to conversate. But he let the other guy speak first. He got him talking about himself. So he built a relationship with him quickly. And then he explained how he could make him more money by working for him. And it led to him being hired on the spot and many other things where they were great long-time friends, and he worked for him for a long time and made him a lot of money like he promised. So make sure that you are providing value to others. But don't just go in and just say, I can do this for you. No, listen to what the people have to say. Listen to, if you have a business and you sell to other businesses or whatever, go in, learn about the person. Don't try and just sell them in the first seconds. Get to know the person first, learn about their business, listen. People like to talk about themselves. Who doesn't like to talk about themselves? You may say, oh, that's not me, I'm humble, blah, blah, blah. People like to talk about themselves, like to talk about what they have going on, like to talk about life. So listen to what they're saying about their business and what their business is doing. And just listen. Don't respond, just listen. Get them talking about themselves and their businesses, and you will get so much respect from just listening to people that you'll have instant rapport with them very, very quickly. And then provide value for them. And when you do that, sales will come so much easier. So much easier. So think about that when you're in your business things. Another story, another cool little thing. I was with the book yesterday, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Is quick little story, it's kind of a metaphor. You have the sun that's in the sky, right? And you have the wind. And they're talking, and there's an old gentleman walking through the park. And the old gentleman has a coat on. And the wind says to the sun, he says, I can blow that coat right off that gentleman. And the sun says, I bet you can't, but I bet I can. So the wind says, I'll show you how. So the wind starts to blow and starts to blow and starts to blow and tries to blow the man's jacket off of his body. But what did the man do? He just grabbed it tighter, he held onto it tighter. And the wind, when he finally couldn't blow anymore, he stopped. And the sun said, well, it's my turn. So what did the sun do? He showed his beautiful shining face on the man, his warmth. And that warmth of the sun shone on that man. And what happened? The man took off his coat because it was warm. Right? So think about that in business and in life. Don't go at people with your priorities and your wind of your priorities of, I'll show you my product's the best, my service is the best, my life's the best, my XYZ is the best. Don't go at it like that. Go at it as smile, be enthusiastic, learn about the person, show your shining face, your happy face, enthusiastic face, show it on them, and they will open up to you. You'll be able to get into the doors that you never thought you could get into if you just use that technique. So those are just some quick stories and some takeaways from this week and what I've learned in How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read it, take a moment, go get it on Amazon, go get it at the library. The library definitely will have it, and read this book. It is got value bomb after value bomb after value bomb, and the book is written in a way where it tells stories so you remember it. I love books that tell stories. Stories are crucial to being a successful influencer, or how to teach people something is with stories. So think about that. Tell good stories. And this book is amazing. 2 books I highly recommend right now that I just finished. Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill and How to Win Friends and Influence People. 2 amazing books. They're older books, but man, those guys knew what they were talking about at that time. And then some other ones that I've read this year is Creative Inc. with the president of Pixar, and then another one is the Richard Branson one, The Virgin Way, I think. Huge books. I've read many more. This year I've grown more personally than I have any other year, and one of the reasons is because I've read books. I'm not a big reader, so I actually listen on Audible, But I just take so much away from it. If you're not reading books or listening to books, you need to. If you want to be successful, you just always got to be continually learning. Listen to podcasts, listen to my podcast, listen to other podcasts. There's so many good podcasts out there there's hundreds of thousands of podcasts. Go to riseuppodcast.com. Listen to our podcast. Love for you guys to listen to it. And if you love it, great. If not, that's okay too. My podcast isn't for everyone. But just go out there, learn how to win friends and influence people, because it will change your life. So read those books. And always be reading other books. That's a huge thing. Just be reading books. Change my mentality of books, because I wasn't huge into books. And I'm not huge into like the Harry Potters, the Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. And if you are, that's fine. That's still good reading. I'm into the business books, the personal development books, and they're changing my life. My goal was to read 6 books this year, so 1 every other month. I've read 12. So I've blown my thing out of the water. I'm going to continue to read them and listen to them because they changed my life, and I know they'll change yours. So I thank everyone that tuned in to this podcast today. I super appreciate it. We were also live on Facebook and live on Instagram, so everyone that tuned in there as well. Again, if you like this podcast, if you like this show, go to iTunes. Please leave us a review. We love getting those reviews. It's my oxygen, like Gary Vee says when he gets those reviews. It's his oxygen. It's his lifeblood. It's my lifeblood too. It's my oxygen. I love reviews. I love hearing from you guys. So guys, continue to rise from the ashes and conquer the day. Be Phoenix entrepreneurs. If you're on the low moments or the high moments, the low moments come. And it's what we do in those moments that define us. So remember to continue pushing yourself to that next level. Go create something great today, because you guys are all great. You guys are all great at what you do. Just continue doing it, continue rising from the ashes, and conquer the day. And I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you next week.